Hi, I'm Callie and welcome to Kapowski Reads, and this is my July TBR game. This very exciting, very exciting for me. I don't know if anyone else will care, but this is going to be the last time that I play my game using my beta mode board, the board that's basically just drawn on some paper, because I think I know what I want my game to be now that I've played it a good few times, and I'm going to be transferring my game over to the actual game board, which is really exciting. And yeah, I'm so excited about this. So last time with this particular game and these particular rules. If this is the first time you are watching my TBR game, then hi. I will add a link in the description to the first time I ever played this, but the rules are really straightforward. Basically, I just roll some dice, move a little 3D printed cat, and pick a book according to where I land. I roll 6 times and doubles equal another roll. So let's play and let's see how kind the dice are to me. Roll number 1. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is part of a series. Roll number 1 was a pink prompt, and that was to choose a book that is part of a series. Now, the sensible part of my brain is saying, choose a book that's on a series that you're already reading. I've got a few series where if I just read one book, I finish the series. So obviously, I didn't choose any of those. I am choosing Wolfsong by TJ Klune because this is my buddy read pick for July. And it would be foolish of me not to add this giant, I think it's like 600 pages? 554, but that's a lot. So it makes sense to get this on the TBR. I'm not 100% sure what this book is about because I bought it in December when it was half price in the hardback sale. This book, if memory serves correctly, is about a boy who's had a pretty unhappy childhood, and he has this romance, friendship, blossoming relationship of sorts with the boy next door who is a shapeshifter from a family of shapeshifters, I assume werewolves. And then there's a murder. That's pretty much all I know about it. I'm really excited about this book, but I'm also quite nervous because I have really enjoyed TJ Klune up until June, where I tried to read one of his books and I just could not get into it, and I ended up DNFing him. So here's hoping I have more success with this one. I think I will, because it's going to be a buddy read, and buddy reads are always really fun. And yeah, let's go for it. Roll number 2. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A free pick. Roll number 2 is a free pick, and normally I wouldn't pick my free pick now. I wouldn't commit to it so far in advance, but there is a book that I would like to get on my TBR, so I'm popping it on because I don't think I have any prompts on my cards that would prompt me to being able to pick this book. So I'm just putting it on because I want to. Things We Do to Our Friends by Heather Darwin. This is a library copy, which is why it's so shiny, but if I try and angle it away from the window, you can see the cover, which is so creepy. Like, that is a hand just clutching a snake, and I'm in. This was recommended to me by my friend Haley, who picked it up and thought that it sounded like the kind of thing I would love. And it does. It is about a young woman who has gone off to Edinburgh University, and she's taking this as her opportunity to just reinvent herself, which, didn't we all do that when we left our hometowns? Try and make a new version of you. And she finds herself brought under the wing of a very popular, wealthy classmate, and finds herself sort of sucked into this world that she sort of felt like she didn't belong in. And I know this is dark academia, but I have been told that it's also kind of creepy and my sort of thing, which is I love reading like a creepy toxic relationship book, and I believe that this this is it. Plus, it's Scottish fiction, and you know I like some Scottish fiction. Roll number 3. Doubles, and that's 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. White. Not set in UK or USA. Roll number 3 was a white prompt, which was a book that is set not in the UK and not in the USA. So I'm going with Queen of Kings by Maria Davana Headley? Yeah. And this book is set in Egypt and it features Cleopatra. Basically, Cleopatra makes a deal with the goddess of death, and as is so often the case with deals with the gods, there's a twist, there's a sting in the tail, and that basically is vampires. There's vampires in this book. I love a vampire book, so I'm very excited about this. This was another friend, actually. We did a book swap and that's where I got this. There's a little bit of sun damage on it, which makes me very, very sad, but there's nothing I can do about that. So I'm so excited about this. It is another big book though. Are all of my books going to be big? Maybe they will. Roll 4. It's a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a 7. A 2022 release and a lap. Roll 4 was a pinked prompt, and that was a 2022 release. So I'm going with The Party House by Lynn Anderson. Do not judge the fact that I don't take stickers off of books. I will eventually, but for now, they don't really bother me. As long as you can take them off. It's just when you can't. That's when I get annoyed. I like to have the choice. This is Scottish crime fiction set in the Highlands, and there is a party house being built. And the locals are not too happy about this because they're not liking the idea of all of these tourists coming, having these big elaborate parties, and just kind of being a little bit disruptive to, you know, people who are just trying to live their lives. During the building of the house, a body is discovered. A body that went missing, a body of a person that went missing some 5 years ago, and suspicion is now on the doors of a lot of the local men. And this book follows one specific person who is being put under suspicion, and his current partner is kind of wondering if she actually really knows the man that she's building her life with. It sounds like it's going to be maybe a little bit tough, but I think it's going to be really good. It was the Watersons book of the month a wee while ago, and that is why I picked it up, because it sounded good, it was signed, it was on a deal. All perfectly valid reasons to buy a book. Roll 5. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's white again. Goodreads highest number of ratings. Roll number 5 was a white prompt, and that was a book on Goodreads with the highest number of ratings. So the book that I own that has the highest number of ratings on Goodreads is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, which I keep seeing everywhere. I cannot get Goodreads to work right now, so I can't tell you how many ratings there are on the book. I'll pop a graphic up, a screenshot to show you, but this is the book that I own that has the largest number of ratings. So I don't really know a huge amount about what this book is about, because I was planning to go on Goodreads and find out and, you know, get the synopsis that way, but I can't. Technology. I know it's about a cruel prince, I assume. It is fantasy, and I think it might be a romance fantasy. Romantasy? That's it, yeah. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out if it's good. I hope it is, but if it is, it's also me starting yet another new series. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Roll number 6 is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. a yellow NetGalley oldest approved. Rule 6 was a yellow prompt, and this was the oldest approved NetGalley book that I have. That is The Great Big Demon Hunting Agency by Peter Oxley. And according to NetGalley, I got this book on the 27th of December. I'm late. This follows two not so successful criminals in London, in 19th century London during Victorian times, round about what would probably be the time of Jack the Ripper. And there are baddies, there are bad people out there, and they're hurting people. And these two criminals are like, nah, we're gonna go straight. We're gonna give up the crime. But the criminal world doesn't want them to give up the crime. And they find themselves caught up in some chaos. There is drama, more crime, more criminals. There are monsters and there are magicians. And I think this is just going to be quite a relatively fun, light-hearted read with a sort of gothic setting, which is definitely something I enjoy. I don't really know if it's going to be light-hearted, but the cover makes me think that it is. And onto my extra roll. Nope, not my final roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's green flowers on the cover. Now we're on to extra rolls. So I got a green prompt, which was a book with flowers on the cover. And I'm going to have to be very careful about how I show this cover because it's got some nudity on it. So I'm going with The Once and Future Sex by Eleanor Janega. And this, first of all, I'm being very careful. This is an absolutely stunning cover. I have been meaning to read this book for quite a while. I pre-ordered it, classic, and I haven't gotten to it yet. It's non-fiction and it is about the role of women in medieval society. I have been going on a bit of a non-fiction adventure this year. I used to read a lot of non-fiction and I haven't in the last few years, so I've been getting back into it. And I've read quite a few books that are sort of women's history and I'm really enjoying them. So I wanted to get this. I'll show the back of it. I wanted to get this because I think it sounds so interesting. I've got a few friends that have read it and they raved about it. So I'm excited to get to read it too and to enjoy some more non-fiction. And my final roll ever using this board is a 4. It is my final one. 1, 2, 3, 4, green, which is a colourful cover. I ended up with one more extra roll, which was another green, and it's a book with a colourful cover. And I'm going with 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. The cover is super colourful and I have been wanting to read this for a while, so it makes sense to try and put it on the list if I can, although it is another, it's not as large as I thought it was actually. I thought this book was, you know, super big, but I feel it's only about 300 or so. It's 400 pages. I'm terrible at guessing how long books are. This is about the Buendia family. And I have purposely avoided trying to find out too much about the plot behind this book because I didn't want to get any spoilers. I know it's odd. I know it's a delightfully odd book and I know there are a lot of characters, some of whom have the same name, I think. Some of my friends have hated this and some of them have loved it. So I'm really excited to find out where I lie on that spectrum. Again, this was a book I got from a friend. That seems to be a theme for my July TBR, is books I either got from friends or was recommended by them. Although this wasn't recommended because it's so polarizing in my friendship circle. But I'm excited to be able to sort of contribute my thoughts and feelings to it. I also do an additional pick based on whether I did or did not finish my TBR in the previous month. So I am filming this on Tuesday the 27th of June. And I have finished all but one of my books from my June TBR. The book that I'm not quite finished, I'm halfway through. So I'm gonna I'm taking this as I have been successful with my June TBR because I have at least started everything. So that means I get to read the book that is the highest rated book on my existing TBR on Goodreads, which is Her Radiant Curse by Elizabeth Lim. This is a standalone. I thought it was part of a series. I actually thought it was part of the Six Crimson Cranes series, but it's not. It is a standalone set in the same world though, which I love that world. This is about two sisters, one of whom is beautiful and one of whom has been cursed. But it's going to have a beautiful relationship between the two sisters. Their father, who is the reason behind the curse, he invites all of the sort of wealthy men around to come and basically compete to marry his beautiful daughter. And the person who looks to be sort of winning is an awful oaf. So her sister is like, nah, I'm not letting my sister marry that. No, she deserves better. But that kind of makes her even more unpopular than she was before for a person who has basically a serpent face as her curse. She wears her, it's not even her curse, it's her dad's curse. Her dad should be cursed, not her. I've not even read it yet and I'm very passionate about this. And she becomes the focus of, well, she gets herself in danger. And this is going to be a beautiful story about sisterly love and about beauty, you know, what beauty really means. It's going to be set in a wonderful, wonderful, fantastical world that I have dipped my toes into before in the two books in the Six Crimson Cranes duology, which, if you haven't read that series, I highly recommend it. The world building is exquisite. So I'm giddy to be able to read this and go back in the world because I heard a little bit about this story and I want more. This is an ARC. This is from NetGalley. It's not out until the end of August, but I'm going to read it in July and I think I'm going to have a great time. I have one more book that I'm putting on my TBR. It didn't get picked for any of the roles, but it is a book that I have to read. I don't have to, I want to read. So on the list it goes, and it is Evil Under the Sun by Agatha Christie, which is my Read Christie pick for July and is also my Kayla's buzzword pick for July because the theme is weather and sun. Sun is weather. It's not weather right now. We've just come from a heat wave to now storms, which is a lovely contrast. Autumn feels so far away. And this is about a murder. Poirot investigating a murder. A very beautiful woman at a hotel resort where Poirot's away trying to get some rest. No, there's going to be a crime and he's going to get involved and save the day. I've read this before, but I haven't read this again for quite a while. Maybe like 3 years. So I'm really excited to give this a reread. I do remember enjoying it the last time I picked it up. So I hope I enjoy it just as much this time around. I almost forgot. I have one more book because I did a lap. I passed start. I have one more book and that is a book I have seen on BookTube. And this is a library book. I don't have it yet. I'm going to go and pick it up on Thursday. So I'll have it then. It's called Idle by Louise O'Neill. And I saw this on Ciara Foster's birthday vlog where unfortunately she didn't really enjoy this book. But the reasons she gave for not enjoying it were things that I like in a book. So I actually think that I'm gonna love it. This book surrounds a very popular influencer who has been talking about a romantic experience that she had in the past. And the person who was involved remembers it very differently. I have heard that this book is a little unreliable narrator, a little bit creepy, a little bit toxic friendship, which is what I want. And the second that this book was getting described, I thought, I need that. But yes, that is my TBR. So my TBR, physical TBR, are these books plus Idle, which I don't have yet. I'm very, very excited. I've got a nice little mix and I do have some chunkier books on my list this month, but I've got faith in me. Sure. I would love to know what your upcoming reading goals are. Please let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!